morning, good evening, good night, Eagle MMA family. This is every fight to make after UFC 296, Edwards versus Covington.
Outside the queen.
You're gonna get splashed on with that, don't you?
He deserves a nice cup of tea and some biscuits. That's a good win for Leon, isn't it?
First off, I want to take this time to congratulate Leon Edwards. Let's all take a round of applause for little coward jerk chicken boy Leon Scott for standing at range with Colby Covington for 25 minutes straight. All you fucking Colby Covington haters, you fucking Leon Scott. Oh, Leon Edwards has the most aesthetic physique of all time. That's gay. You're gay if you say that. Guess what? Leon Scott threw less punches than Colby Covington. He was pressuring and had Colby Covington up against the fence the entire time, and Colby Covington outstruck him by like 50 total strikes or some shit like that. So, shut the fuck up. Let's get into these fucking fights to make. First up, Shamil Gaziev versus Martin Buday. Standing TKO at heavyweight, not my favorite stoppage. I don't give a fuck what you say. Oh, or great stoppage. Don't give a fuck. Shamil Gaziev, I love these fat heavyweights. Let's just from the Parker Porter. That's a great fat heavyweight fight. Next up is Andre Fili versus Lucas Almeida. Pretty decent KO for Andre Fili. Bit of an early stoppage, but who the fuck cares? It's Andre Fili. Who really cares what he does? And exactly, who really cares what he does? He's like a 50-50 fighter. He's just gonna fight some other unranked bums. Just throw him to some unranked bum. I don't give a fuck what he does. Next up, Cody Chadden versus Tagir Olan Stupid. Cheater, disgusting, filthy, mongrel. Tagir Olan Stupid. Hey, Tagir. Get this through your fucking thick ass skull. You can't fucking hook your toes in the cage to get a submission. And obviously, the GOAT, Chris Tognoni, understands that it should be legal, but it's not. That's why he didn't stop and he didn't break Tagir's feet from the fence, didn't deduct a point, because he understands it should be legal, but it's not legal. Stupid, get that through your brain. Disgusting performance from Tagir on back off. It was a very competitive fight the entire way through. I say give him Steve Erceg. There's not a lot of lower ranked flyweight fights that are good for him, that are even match-upable. Steve Erceg, he's a pretty decent fight. He's a pretty decent test for Tagir. It'll be a pretty decent fight. And people are saying Matt Schnell, but I want Matt Schnell to fight Cody Durden, because even though he got subbed, it was a dirty finish, and he was very competitive the whole way through. Don't tell me you would rather see Tagir versus Schnell than Durden versus Schnell. Next up, Ariane Lipski versus Casey O'Neill. I wasn't even paying attention to this fight. Who gives a fuck? Lipski subs Neal with a inverted with the arm bars. I don't care. I don't care what the fuck you do with that fight. Next up is Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. Great KO for Cody Garbrandt. Brian Kelleher, kind of a quitter. Brian quitted her. He kind of let himself get knocked out at the very end. Just, let himself get finished there. But great KO from Cody Garbrandt. He looked pretty decent. I think he could beat more of these unranked bantamweights, but I think he should be matched up with Adrian Yanez, not Dominic Cruz, because I think Dominic Cruz, if he fights ever again, it's going to be like in a fucking year or something, and Cody Garbrandt probably wants to get right back in there. And Adrian Yanez is probably going to be around that timeline of when Cody Garbrandt wants to get back in there. That's a great fight. Two heavy boxers, two knockout artists. Don't tell me that's not way better of a fight than Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz too. Next up, Irene Aldana versus Carol Rosa. Guys, this was actually a pretty good women's fight. I know it's very, very rare to see, but this was actually a watchable women's fight. I would actually go back and watch this fight. Pretty fucking decent. And fuck you, Joe Rogan, for saying, this might even just be the fight of the year. Not just the women's fight of the year, the fight of the year. Are you retarded? What? No. Hey, stupid. You remember Brandon Moreno versus Pantoja? That was a fucking insane fight. Do you remember fucking Volk versus Islam 1? Like, there were way better fights in this fight, but still a great fight. I don't really care who they fight. I honestly don't give a shit who they fight. Irene Aldana could fight the loser of Pennington versus Buena Silva. Carol Rosa, I didn't even know who she was before this fight happened, but a great fight. Next up, the Hood Chad Alonzo Manfield whoops on little scared white boy, little cracker, Dustin Jacoby. Alonzo Manfield just hood the whole way out. Jacoby trying to, with his fucking jab. Nobody gives a fuck about your boring kickboxing, you little weirdo. Alonzo Manfield is from O Block. He sips lean, daily. He smokes that pack, smoking that Jacoby pack. Literal proof that hood beats skill. A great win for Alonzo Manfield. I would match him up with Dominic Reyes, but I feel like they probably won't do that. They probably don't want Dominic Reyes to get murdered again. So I think Manfield versus Ryan Spann is the fight to make. That's an amazing fight. Next up, starting with the main card. Oh, God. Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell, we're praying for you, dude. That was a nasty KO for Josh Emmett. Started pretty even. Bryce Mitchell trying to pressure Josh Emmett early. Didn't really get much off. Tries to throw a left straight as Josh Emmett comes in and loads up the most fucking powerful right hand I think I've ever seen. As soon as his fist hits Bryce Mitchell, he's out cold on the fucking canvas. He starts having a seizure. He starts seizing and everything. He's out for like 2 minutes straight. When he's up, like awake, he can't even stand up. When he's standing up after like 5 minutes, he's still on super wobbly legs. Nasty KO for Josh Emmett. A KO of the year contender, because that was insane. That was a fucking great KO for Josh Emmett. And there's a problem with the featherweight division. There's really no one for Josh Emmett to fight. He either fights way down or way up, but he should fight someone who's way up, which should be way down. Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is somehow the number 3 contender. My dick and balls, he's the fucking number 3 contender, dude. He hasn't won a fight since like 2021. He's coming off 2 losses, a beatdown from fucking Volk, and then just broke his fucking shoulder against Rodriguez. And he hasn't fought in like a fucking year or something, like 2 years or some shit. Him versus Josh Emmett is the fight to make, because it's either that or Josh Emmett fights like Edson Barboza, which might be pretty fucking decent too. I would not mind that one either. And with Bryce Mitchell, dude, I'm not even gonna make a fight for him because he needs to take bare minimum a full year off. I would probably even say just like a year and like 4 months or something, because that was brutal. That was a brutal KO. He took the fight on short notice too. Let him build some muscle. He's got a little pudgy, kind of soy little body. Probably build some muscle, just recover really well so he comes back even stronger. So I'm not even going to make a fight for him because it's going to be like a year at least. Next up, Tony El Cucuy, Cali Blood Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. People are saying Tony should retire. Bullshit, Tony should retire. He still looked pretty decent against Paddy Pimblett. He was still landing decent strikes. He was still having moments on the feet, on the ground. And I'll say it, I've said it a billion fucking times, and I'll say it this one last time, and I won't go much into it, but he needs to fight Matt Brown or Nick Diaz at welterweight. Those are the 2 fights to make, just 2 old vets. It's either that or make him fight Jim Miller for UFC 300, which honestly might be the fight to make. I'd probably honestly take him versus Jim Miller at UFC 300. But him versus Matt Brown and Nick Diaz, any one of these old vets in lightweight or welterweight would be very good for him. I probably would prefer welterweight because it's better for his body and his recovery. And with Paddy Pimblett, I'm at a mix between Dan Hooker, but he's just way too high up in the rankings, coming off a pretty decent win over Jalen Turner. So I don't really think it's in, you know, in his range. So I'm going with he should fight Benoit Saint Denis. I want him to get murdered in the cage by Benoit Saint Denis, because if Tony Ferguson is gassing you out and eating your strikes and doing legit damage to you, well, even though it's, you know, on his back on the ground, Benoit Saint Denis will slaughter him in there and will be the most fucking entertaining thing of all time. Next up is Shavchad Rakhmonov versus Wonder Soy Thompson. Pretty decent submission from Shavkat. Really boring in that first round. Joe Rogan again saying, oh, or maybe Wonderboy won that round. Maybe Wonderboy won that round. Are you retarded? No, the fuck he didn't. They landed pretty equal damage on the feet. And Shavkat actually did some damage in the clinch. He landed like 6 pretty decent punches in a row. Just clinching him the whole fucking time, just draining his energy. Not the most entertaining performance, but gets him down in the second round, submits him. I wouldn't say easily, but there wasn't a lot of... As soon as he got him to the ground, he kind of did whatever he wanted with Wonderboy. So obviously we knew that was coming from Wonderboy, little soy boy. Hey, maybe you should have fought Michel Pereira. You wouldn't have fought Shavkat, idiot. And I think Dude, it sucks because Wonder Soy has fought fucking literally everyone in the division. The only people he hasn't fought are people that are already fighting or that should be matched up with other fighters. So I'm gonna say him versus Sean Brady because I don't want Sean Brady to win. I think Sean Brady's a bum, and I think it's very disingenuous to give that bum, that Philly little pussy boy, a bunch of gifted matchup against Kevin Holland, fucking all these bums. But they give him Bilal Muhammad and everything, right? So I don't really like that fight, but there's like no one else for Wonder Boy to fight. Next up is Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Pathetic performance from Alexandre Pantoja. Hey, dummy, you're really not making my fucking case here for me saying Flyweight's like the second best division right under fucking Bantamweight. On paper, this fight was supposed to be fireworks. Pantoja just had a fight of the year, probably the fight of the year with Moreno. And then comes back with a five-round fucking snooze fest where he's basically just laying on top of Royval the entire time. People were saying, it was a technical chess match! Technical chess match, my fucking asshole. It was a boring snooze fest where Pantoja laid on top of Royval. Royval honestly should have won that fight because he was the only one doing damage. He was just on his back, punching the fuck out of Pantoja. Pantoja not doing shit, barely doing anything on the feet. Hurt him a couple times in the first 2 rounds, but other than that, just laying on top of him. And he admitted, he's like, this was a boring fucking fight. It's not how I wanted to fight him. But Brandon Royval is such a raw dog. He would have raw dogged me. And Brandon Royval, honestly, moral victory. I think a lot of people watching that fight now know his name and honestly respect him for keeping up the cardio, keeping up the pace, and still being in that. He was in that fight the entire time. Yeah, he was on his back, but he was punching the fuck out of Pantoja. He was still in that fight the entire time. And I think Alexandre Pantoja, dude, there's no contenders for him right now because the only one that would be a real contender is Amir Albazi. But fuck that little bitch, that fucking little. He just makes me so fucking angry. If anyone who knows, the whole reason I started my channel was because of Amir Albazi, little fucking idiot ass, getting that decision over Kai France. Hey, stupid UFC fucking judges. If Kai France got the decision, which he should have gone over fucking Albazi, maybe he would have the fucking problem that you have right now, where there's no contenders for flyweight, because they have Albazi versus Moreno. Albazi's going to get his ass whipped by fucking Moreno. Kai France started to whoop on him in that fucking fight. Moreno is a way better grappler. He's honestly a on-par striker with Kai France. And then other than that, dude, there's nobody else that can, like, contend for it. So you have to do the winner of Cap versus Nicolau, which, you know, even that, like, if Nicolau wins, dude, you can't even do that. So it has to be Manel Cap if he beats Nicolau, which is, like, honestly, I don't even know if that's gonna happen. Manel Cap kind of got exposed in his last fight. He's still very good. He's still a top contender, but I'm not 100% sure that he's gonna beat Nicolau. And with Brandon Royval, I think he should fight the winner of Moreno versus Albazi, which would be Brandon Moreno. Don't give him some bum like Albazi, that little bum. Give him a good step up because he proved he's a top contender. He is a legit title challenger. He still did very good against Pantoja. Give him fucking Moreno when he whoops on that little idiot Albazi. And lastly, little jerk chicken boy, coward crybaby chicken boy, Leon Scott. Hey, little baby, little fake British baby, stop crying to your mommy, because Colby Covington said some words to you. Hey, my dad, you don't joke about my dad. Your dad, okay, was a sex trafficker and a murderer. Not really the moral game to play here, stupid. And put in a 25-minute snooze fest against Colby Covington. All these hey, it's real easy to hate Colby Covington right now. All the real Colby Covington fans, all the real patriotic Americans are standing up against this British jerk chicken boy coward crybaby. He was pressuring Colby Covington the entire fight, had Colby up against the fence pretty much the entire fight. Colby Covington threw like 50 more strikes. He threw like 50 more strikes. So all these people saying, disgraceful performance from Colby Covington. He threw like 150 strikes. He just didn't have a lot of accuracy and wasn't going forward enough. Leon Edwards was the one who should have been fucking throwing more strikes. He threw like 50 less strikes than Colby Covington. He's the one who fucking made it boring. So I think it should be Leon Scott versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. There's a rumbling that Dana White's saying, oh, it's gonna be Bilal. No, it's fucking not. Nobody gives a fuck about Bilal Muhammad, dude. No one gives a fuck about Bilal Muhammad. It should be Shavkat. He just subbed Wonderboy. That's the first time Wonderboy's been subbed in his entire professional MMA career. That's like a good fucking thing. Just because it wasn't the most entertaining before doesn't take away that he subbed Wonderboy. Gilbert Burns couldn't do it. Bilal Muhammad couldn't do it. None of these other fighters could fucking do it. He could. He's a legit threat to Leon Scott. And honestly, who gives a fuck about Bilal versus Leon Scott, dude? Those are like the two most boring, unentertaining fucking fighters in the division right now, on the mic and in the fucking cage. No one's gonna watch that. That might get 200k fucking pay-per-views. The only reason Leon Scott has any name is because he knocked out Snoozman at the very last second, and he took out the bad guy, Colby Covington, after he said mean words to him. And Colby Covington should fight Bilal Muhammad. That's what it is, right? If they make Bilal versus Leon and they want to lose $10 million on a show, let them make that, and then it could be Shavkat versus Covington. But Covington versus Bilal is the fight to make, because that will actually be very entertaining trash talk. Colby Covington is a trash talker. You want him up against big names. You want him against people that can fucking talk shit, and it's like funny for them to talk shit to. What's Colby gonna say to Shavkat? Oh, you're inbred. And Shavkat's just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, so what? And all these people saying, oh, Colby should retire. He's washed. What are you talking about? He still did pretty decent. He won at, I'd say, 2 rounds. He won the 3rd and the 5th round. He didn't do fucking half bad against Leon Scott. It just wasn't his usual performance. He hasn't fought in like 2 years because every fighter has been ducking him. And he wants to come back very fucking soon. So make him with Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad probably wants to get right back in there. So thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching. Eagle MMA not out?
Hey, Young Lean? Are you Young Lean?
What?
Are you Young Lean?
No, I'm Barry Dillon.